I wanted my father to understand I wasn't coming. Welcome to Reddit Rundown. Today, we will share again about one of the all-time top posts in Reddit's nuclear revenge page.
Woo!
My parents divorced when I was in first grade. Not only did my dad disappear like Houdini, he stole my mother's ATM card to her personal account and drained her dry. My mother, being the saint she is, didn't even bat an eye. She still was cordial to him and never said a negative word about him. To me, my dad, albeit abandoning us, was still my hero. From 1st through 5th grade, I had the usual abandoned by dad stories. Maybe 1 or 2 visits in a year, and a 50 times of me waiting by the front window with my suitcase packed to go to his house and him never showing up. My mom through all of this was supportive and never said an ill word about him, so he still stayed my hero. When I was in 6th grade, my mother finally remarried, and my father, who only had a picture of me at 8 months old in his wallet, went ballistic. Did I mention he never paid child support? He would use his father's social, they had the same name, to get away with it. After my mom remarried, he let it be known that I was now my stepdad's responsibility. He cut off communication with me until I graduated high school. He didn't attend my graduation or send a card. What he did do was write me an email thanking God he no longer had to pay child support. He didn't anyway. What really broke me was his ruthless and brutal attack on my mother, attacking her weight, looks, teeth, and blaming any perceived negative traits that I had on her. For the first time I realized what a cowardly piece of crap he was. I responded in kind. He told me I was no child of his and that I was a waste. After that, I vowed that I would hurt him. 10 years later, my father, not interested in my wedding or my son, reached out to me. You see, he is a diabetic, and one of his organs were failing, and he didn't have long. He's too far down on the list, and he needed someone in our family to donate. Nuclear revenge activated. I answered his email. I met up with him and pretended that I didn't hate his guts. I went and got tested to see if I was a match. I was. Did the therapy and met with doctors and his therapist. We scheduled the surgery. The day of the surgery we meet at the hospital. I smiled in his face and let him know that I wouldn't be going through with the surgery. I watched the confusion line his face. I just wanted you know that you're no father to me and you're a waste. I left the hospital and drive home. My mom was pretty annoyed with me that I took it that far. My father is dying and I will be attending the funeral out of spite. And I will let everyone know what a piece of crap he was. Later, father abandoned me and called me a waste. Later in life, he needs an organ. I agree and match with him and abandon him at the hospital the day of the surgery after calling him a waste. He will die and I will ruin his funeral. Edit 1. This really blew up. For those questioning my actions, I will give further detail. My father was or is semi-obsessed with my mother. His attachment to us was only in his perceived ability to get back with my mother. In the beginning, he would call and make plans to see us, and just not show up. My mom would have to make up excuses. He has been married over 4 times and supports and loves his stepkids without a thought to us. Once my mother remarried, he was done with us. He kept in contact with my mother through email, but had no interest in talking to his children. I have reached out to him before, to invite him to my graduation, to let him know of my marriage, and that he was a grandfather. All I got back was pictures of his new wife's kiddos. Upon getting to know him after agreeing to donate, I went to one of his therapy sessions at his request. There I heard the story of the true reason he contacted me. I listened as he lamented about his impending death, how he was resigned to his fate, only to have his new wife remind him of his former kids, and maybe one of them will donate. And he got excited because he had forgotten all about us, and it was like hope renewed. Do you know how crappy it is to listen to the person who is responsible for your very existence talk about forgetting your very existence? Like I was a pair of sturdy old boots that gathered dust in the back of the hall closet. Now rediscovered, I was to be worn to go shovel crap. I knew then I wasn't going to give him anything. Thanks for the silver and gold. Edit 2. Not worried about a will or being left anything. He had nothing to leave. He's the male equivalent of a gold digger. He only marries women who can take care and support him as he mooches off of them. He stole thousands from my mother, and she didn't press charges because she didn't want her children's father in jail. My mother was his first wife, and he learned his lesson not to have kids of his own, but to move into ready-made families. His ex-wives and their children have nothing nice to say about him. When I told him I wasn't going through with it, he understood exactly why. He nodded his head in understanding. I already was approached for money to contribute to the funeral, and I will.
Woo!
Here are some top comments in this post.
Woo!
Oh, Freak, this is the best revenge I've read.
Woo!
He doesn't deserve a funeral, you just need to dump him in the woods and let the animals have him.
Woo!
I had a similar situation, but I was far too pissed to take it as far as you did. I just nuked the bridge he tried to build. Mine wanted my liver after he physically, emotionally, and sexually abused me as a small child. My mother wasn't happy with how I handled it either, but it wasn't her decision. It was mine.
Woo!
Your mom is a freaking saint. As a dad who has continued to fight to see his kid for close to 5 years and having to be nothing but nice about my ex-wife in front of my kid, while she does nothing but engage in a campaign of implacable hostility, I appreciate that your mom was like this.
Woo!
My partner and I deal with the same crap now. He's apparently the biggest piece of crap in the world according to what she tells their 4-year-old. I've been around since he was 2, and it's always the same crap. We used to record when we did the trade-off for the custody agreement because she's do crap like tell him, at 3, that she felt bad for him that he has to go with us, but then constantly begs us to keep him longer or get him early. Now, she wants us to keep him for 2 months because she pawned off the older kid to her father and doesn't want him there since she lost her apartment and is loving with her father.
Woo!
As a 20-year-old man with a deadbeat father, I understand what you did. I applaud you. In my circumstances, things were a lot different, but same B's logic that they have. I occasionally think about finding out about him dying, how I'd feel nothing. No remorse, no sadness, no anger or satisfaction. You are a strong person. Keep that backbone of yours. Never let it weaken. Let the knowledge of him not having any love for himself is why he never should you the love a father should give. I know you will be a wonderful parent, and when I have my own child, I will do everything to be the father we never had. This is Reddit Rundown. If you are new here, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Thanks for watching.